This is another installment of our ongoing BDU series, talking about clothes and patterns and brands and all that. Particular set that I've got on right now, these are proper BDUs in the A-TACS FG pattern. It's kind of a mix and match here. The pants that I've got on are actually the proper ACU cut pants, and the top is actually the BDU cut instead of the ACU, and just took and removed the pockets from the bottom and moved those up to the chest, and moved the chest pockets to the shoulder, kind of old school style. But the material between the two is identically the same. These are made out of proper 65-35 poly cotton ripstop material. That's their battle rip material, as they call it. Proper makes really good BDUs. We'll just get that out of the way up top. I've had a number of sets over the years of theirs, including quite a few sets of their digital woodland ACUs, some of the digital desert ACUs, as well as some of their older stuff as well. Not a whole lot to say about the quality on the proper stuff. Proper makes really good stuff. Haven't had any problems with stitching or quality construction or anything. Let's see. My buddy had one pair of pants that the inseam blew out on him, but on looking at that real close, it looked like a really fluke thing of not low quality materials, but it looked like when the two halves are being sewn together, the material just didn't get a good stitch line in one area. It was a simple fix underneath the sewing machine for him real quick at home. Wasn't any big deal. All the other sets that we've had haven't had any issues whatsoever at them, and we've used them in a number of training classes now, camping trips, stuff like that. Haven't had any issues. So quality and construction on the propers is up there. No worries there. The Atax Patterns specifically, let me back up real quick. The ACU stuff that they've got is just standard, typical ACU. Buttons on the thigh pockets with the bungee cord around the mouth, buttons on the hip pockets, Velcro on the thigh pockets. Same on the ACU tops. You've got the Velcro chest pockets and shoulder pockets with the two-way zipper in the middle. The BDU cut stuff is exactly like your old school BDUs. Buttons all the way around, button closure on the top. Your four pockets are all button closured as well. And again, we move these around, so your standard ones come with the lower pockets and the chest pockets. So again, typical ACU and BDU construction on those. As far as the A-TACS patterns, this is the A-TACS FG, which stands for foliage green. They also make these in the A-TACS AU, which is the arid urban pattern. We've got both. Didn't bring both of them out here today just for ease of making the video, but in their own environments, both work respectively well. We've already seen the one video that we did on these back in some pretty thick bush. They really do a great job of molding to the terrain and the entire environment as far as what you visually see. There's times when this FG looks a lot darker than what it is, and then there's times like right now where it stands out kind of bright looking. It just depends on your lighting and your background and your foreground, for that matter, as to how it shows up. It's a really interesting colorway choice and pattern choice. You know, those are two separate things. You've got the pattern, and then you've got the colorways that goes into the pattern. Same with the A-TACS AU. As far as an arid pattern, the AU works really well. The AU actually, believe it or not, works fairly effectively in woodland environments as well. So it's pretty versatile in its own right. I'd say in deep woodlands, the FG probably has got a little bit of an advantage over the AU, but they do both work and work well. And again, one of the great things about this is you've got two different patterns for two different terrain areas, which far better allows you to pick what works specifically the best for your environment, your terrain. The one size fits all thing, it's great in some instances for some folks, but not so much for others. And again, when we're talking about things, we're talking about in the context of just a self-reliant, prepared citizen. It works a lot better for us to tailor your clothing and your equipment to the environment that you're going to be in. And the A-TACS lets you do that by having two different patterns for two different areas. It gives you a much more dedicated setup. Very similar to what the Marine Corps did versus the Army. The Army originally went with their ACU pattern, or UCP pattern as properly called. The Marine Corps went with a digital woodland and their digital desert and their MARPAT. That let them have a more specific pattern and colorway to the given environment than trying to do a universal camo like the Army did, which, as you can see, has been pretty much a failure. Not so much from the universal concept, but more just what they chose to do it with. For example, in Afghanistan, the Army is using the multicam now as an interim while they go through the trials to find a replacement. Multicam is definitely a much better universal camo than what the UCP is. But again, it's a military context. What we're talking about is, average citizens. Tailoring it to your environment works much better. A-TACS lets you do that. Arid urban pattern, the foliage green pattern. Two different ones, slightly different in their own respects, but both work really well in their given environments with even a little crossover both ways. I'd say that the AU probably crosses over into the woodland environment a little easier than the FG crosses into the arid environment. In a urban setting, that'd be a tough toss-up in an urban setting. Both are going to work really well. Maybe again a slight edge to the AU if you're especially in an urban area that doesn't have quite as much foliage and plant life as maybe some other urban areas. So again, realize we hadn't thrown anything up specific on these. Wanted to get this up. We're going to do another little quick run through with them in the bushes, let you kind of see how they work. We've already got the one earlier video that we did up earlier this year, which worked well, but we wanted to kind of give another different view and kind of do it how we've been doing all of our other stuff as well, just so you can kind of see them all in the same area and whatnot. So again, these are the proper A-TACS FGs. Good to go on these, really like them. It's a good option, good choice if it fits your environment. So stay tuned and we'll see you again shortly.